This is Sarah Schenirer, number 7. We ended off last time with the number of schools and students. In 1924, there were 22 Bate Yaakov with 4,500 students. Something's important happening at this time. We mentioned that Sarah was inspiring her Talmidot, these young girls, but others were joining the movement. There was a Rabbi Leo Deutschlander, I believe again was German, and he came aboard. He was very, very influential. There was also a phenomenal teacher, also come from Germany. She definitely came from Germany, named Judith Rosenbaum. Eventually became Judith Grunwald and was the wife of Dayan Grunwald, who wrote a book that's a little bit famous on Shabbos. I think he was a Dayan in England, a Chashav Rav in England. And she was very brilliant and very well loved teacher. And they really started getting things going. It says that the young Judith was, after a few days of teaching, the girls were so thirsty, lapping up her wisdom, she was knocked out, and she told Sarah, this after a few days, she's finished, it's over. And Sarah Schenirer said to her, just stay 2 more days. Those 2 more days, of course, turned into 5 years. And the whole movement was going on a shoestring budget. They were making literary magazines. There were no official textbooks until 1927, once they already had 82 schools and 11,500 students. There were girls groups, summer camps, teaching seminaries, singing. They even had an anthem. And these two, Rabbi Leo Deutschlander and Judith Rosenbaum spent so much time fundraising. And it's very sweet that one time Miss Rosenbaum then tried to get an appointment with a certain gvir, a certain wealthy person, individual, and she couldn't get in. And she said to the secretary, tell her it's Dr. Judith the Schnorr, Dr. Judith Schnorr. So she got it, and he said, what kind of name is that? He said, well, I'm the biggest Schnorr, I'm the biggest beggar in all of Europe. So I thought I gave myself that name. They had a seminary in Vienna. They established schools already in Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, Pressburg. Again, in Pressburg, they met with resistance both from the secular and from what are you doing? And once in the early 20s, Sarah Schenirer happened to get on the wrong train, and instead of going to South Germany, she ended up in Frankfurt. And she met a Hansi Ross, who was a great-granddaughter of Hirsch, and she spoke about her vision. And this Hansi Ross started making schools herself, and she established schools in a place called Gist, in Romania and Slovakia, many, many schools. So you get the feeling what was going on here. A movement is developing. Sarah is training teachers herself, and others from outside, notably many German Jews, were coming and being part of this movement and making it happen. And I think sometimes the second tier of people don't get credit. You know, the leader of the Akira movement is the one who gets credit, his students don't. The same thing, Sarah Schenirer is a notable figure, but you don't realize all the other people. Now, there are 2 problems with that. One is that the people who deserve credit don't get it, but a more important problem is we miss a key aspect of leadership. And this I've seen in my studies of great Jewish Rabbanim and leaders, is that they had the ability to bring other people along. No person can make a movement on his own. No person can change the world on his own. You need others to buy into your vision, to say, just stay with me 2 more days, and that turns into 5 years, to see that visionary, great leader who lives in a different plane, but she brings others along with her. And Sarah Schenirer was someone who had that ability. You know, notably, something that Rav Aaron Cutler was so amazing at. Those of you who had seen the 5 minutes on the Rav Aaron series, but even, someone named Marvin Schick passed away recently, and Rav Aaron was on his mind, years later. I just read a story like that, but so many was like that. Rav Aaron at his deathbed was telling them, hold Torah Masorah, take care of Chinuch Atzmai, you have to do this, you have to do that. He was a leader's leader. He brought great Rabbanim into the movement. He brought lay leaders in. And Sarah Schenirer was also, it seems to be the same type of personality, that besides the specific students that she had, who obviously were inspired and moved by her and went in her ways, but there were others that she made sure that they were part of it, fundraising, taking care of things, and that's how Beis Yaakov developed to these phenomenal, enormous, otherworldly numbers that it had reached.